Welcome back. Decisive Campaigns Barbarossa, Game 5, Turn 11. Just had to deal with the same rigmarole with the webcam as before. Restart a couple times, try plugging it into different ports. Yeah, I did interviews all day. I was on camera 3 times. Had the joy of interviewing a couple guys who I waited 5 years for these interviews, and I want that to be burned into your brain as examples of persistence, right? First one was with Dr. Joel Moser, who was the chief scientist of the Air Force and Space Force here in the U.S. for many, many years, and a bunch of other roles too, very interesting. Civilian in the military, right? And I first approached him in 2020. And, he had a very good excuse for not being around in the middle. And so we were talking today about a report, a 3-year study that him and 4 colleagues wrote a report on about basically innovation and the state of readiness for the Space Force. And, we've got this dual mission of serving terrestrial things and space military and trying to keep the U.S. preeminent up there. And how do you do it? And then the second one was with a guy you guys might be familiar with, the chieftain, Nicholas Moran. He's a colonel in the U.S. Army, a real tank commander. And he was on in 2020. I'll put the link below to that interview in the description. And at that time we talked about his process for going and researching tanks at the National Archives, because he is the technical advisor for World of Tanks too, which is very rare. Most games will hire a technical advisor like that, and then as soon as the game launches, they're like, "Hey, thanks, bye." And World of Tanks has kept Nick around for a very long time and enabled him to do more research and get good statistics for building the models of how the tanks actually play. So that was pretty cool. This time, I've been asking him to come on since 2022. For this one, and I was pretty sure what I wanted to talk about, and I cleaned it up when it was apparent that he was actually going to be able to do it, and he was still traveling and that. So but we got the chance to fit it in here, and now he's got an agent, and it costs money to have him on. So his agent was bitching, about this one, and he said, "Well, I committed to it years ago. What do you want, right?" So I don't know if I'll be able to have him on again, but it sure was fun to catch up. And what I did was he did a series of videos on the interwar period and all the major 7 nations tank doctrines development. So each country had its own constraints and concerns and use cases. And they're all trying to figure out, how do we use these tanks and what are they for us, and how are we going to use them, where are we going to use them, how much can we spend, how much innovation do we want. The Germans were very high on innovation and implementing features fast. Britain, very, much slower about that. Italy kind of rushed everything into production and then found that their stuff was out of date by the time the actual war came around. And Japan was toddling around in Southeast Asia with pretty good light tanks, but when the Americans showed up with real guns, that was a problem. So what I wanted to do was have a discussion about that and pull what lessons we could for people trying to build a space vehicle now that would be the equivalent of either a space tank or some sort of law enforcement vehicle. Because if we're going to have laws up there, somebody's got to pull you over, right, and issue a ticket or something like that. And what's that going to look like? So I took 11 pages of notes. I used AI to analyze all those transcripts. I watched the videos again, which was hours of commitment, and then had this discussion. And we were about an hour into it, and I said, "Gee, Nick, we're going to have to speed it up, or else you're going to be here for 3 hours, and I don't think that's what you want." So we still talked for about an hour, 20 minutes, hour and a half, something like that. But when we got to Italy and Japan, I was like, "All right, let's wrap it up," because they were less impactful, I think, but still interesting examples. So, and we pulled a number of interesting lessons for those designers of a military or law enforcement space vehicle. And I was thinking it doesn't have to be a American or Chinese vehicle. It could be a United Nations vehicle, right? But something needs to be up there to enforce laws. Otherwise, it's going to go down to the operators, right? The actual commercial businesses running operations up there to do it. And they will. And is that what we want? So look for those coming soon. If you haven't seen the recent Cold Star Project interviews that I've been doing, I changed the format up. It's a lot more exciting. I put about 4 hours of effort into the beginning of each new interview now for a warm-up, about 45 seconds. And I got to pull video and do a voiceover and pull clips and put them into the timeline and that and make it exciting. Because the old format just wasn't doing what I wanted after 4 years. So they're a lot more exciting. There's, I think, 4 episodes up like that. And so these 2 that I just described will be coming out, number 2 and number 3. I've got one more from last year in the can about power on the moon. Basically, Dr. Paul Van Suzante, who I think is at Michigan Tech, and we talked in 2024 about 3 NASA contests that him and his students entered. He's a professor, right? And he's got a lab that simulates the moon. And if you don't know what the moon is like and you're interested, watch the first interview that I did with him. I've had him on a couple times before, where we talk about what the moon is like, and it's just completely backwards to what you would think it's like. So, like a kid sitting in a yard with a pail and a sand shovel, like everything is going to be backwards to the way you think. It's not dirt. It's extremely sharp, almost glass. The astronauts can't go out on the moon that long. Maybe 4 space missions before that regolith is going to rip through the gaskets connecting their suit pieces. So that's kind of a problem. Anyway, let's get back to the business of invading the Soviet Union. I see here that we have a hapless unit that has stumbled into the surroundings of 3 of these guys at hexes, and obviously we can't attack with all of them, and that's fine. I'm not sure I want to. Let's see, who should we turn off? Well, we'll turn off these guys because we don't need them, and maybe these, and that looks pretty good, 318. And let's give it a go and see what happens. Okay. Pretty good casualty ratio. Not fantastic. You know, it's still 800 to 3,000, but acceptable. And I'm going to stay back here because I like it when they walk up and are surrounded on 3 sides. Okay, 18th Army is having a nap. Pskov is kind of cool because it's got an air base. That would be nice. However, yeah, the forward supply base got moved to here, and we got a lot of fuel that was pent up. But this bridge needs to be fixed. So it's been floody again here, nowhere near as bad as last year, but there has been erosion on the banks of the stream out back, and that's kind of scary. You know, it's fine if it happens on the far side, but if it happens on my side, we got a problem. So I do want to get up here, but this bridge has to be fixed, and it hasn't been long since we took it. So it's going to require a few more rolls of the dice. Let's get the guys who are far back over here. And so, yeah, we've had thunderstorms. We've had a lot of heat in the air. I guess that was the guy that we originally had. And we'll move up. So one of the reasons why I wanted to record tonight is that I am out of here tomorrow, going up to Virginia, and yeah, that's fine. Hang out with the girlfriend for the weekend at least, and so I won't be back here to record it. I spent the last 2 weeks here, and I'm glad I did. Okay, this guy was over the line. I'm going to leave him here for the moment so that these two guys can essentially push him out and get a hand. Ooh, look at that. That was extremely handy. I'm good with that. Well, here's the problem, boys. I'm not sure I really want to go over there. We were planning on using 16th Army to go up this way and 18th to come over here in a real difference of how I've played in the past. And I probably just left somebody out of command range there. Let's see, yeah, it's not the end of the world, but careless on my part. Well, let's go up and see what we can see. I think I do want somebody there so that nobody can exit. And I do believe it's more important for us to cover these guys than it is to cover this. They're probably not going to come over here. What's the garrison strength here at Pskov? It's not 37. I mean, I've probably got enough strength in this to take this out. Do we have any information about? No. The entrenchment is probably 200, but it's a couple motorized divisions. We should be okay. Bit of a fight, but of course we've taken the place, and I think maybe I'll just attack this on principle. It's not a great numbers match, but it is armor against infantry. And what I want is less pressure on the Pskov area. Okay. And we'll get you up there to be most useful. So, can't attack this. 33rd tank. Yeah, I'll stay where I am there. Okay. And these guys... Yeah, that was a garrison. Okay, one more turn. So they'll be active again. Okay. I think that deals with Army Group North, except for any decisions we might have to make. Here in Army Group Center, we've moved our headquarters, our forward supply base to Orsha, which is great for supply. And yeah, we did get a couple more. I think that's it for him, so I'll move him headquarters down there. And let's line up. There's 2 there. I want 2 there. Everybody's good. And we can start shuffling as a consequence the 4th Army units out of here. Alright. Wait. What are you again? No, I don't want you moving. Okay. And Hugo's unit, yeah, it's gone as far as it can, so... Okay. Let's take it to there. And so I can actually move the headquarters up a bit because they're no longer... Yeah, I kind of should have maybe moved them there, but I don't know. I was thinking about the road. Okay. So now we've got this 2nd Army. They're coming down here. I'll probably put him here next turn, and then we'll have a pretty beefy defense. Yeah, they're on sustain. That's good. 2nd Army. We don't need them all riled up on Blitzkrieg, right? Right now. So 2nd Panzer's still in R&R. But 3rd Panzer is back. So the question is, what do we want to do about it? We could really beat on this. Let's give it a go. Yeah, good math. Yeah, no, I can't back up over the line, but I can stay here for now. I really don't want to move up there because then I'm in position to get beat up on by those guys. So who's the weakest here? 201, 230, and of course 2 battles here, which I noted last turn, could get us around behind everybody. And this is probably the route that we should take, I'm guessing. But we're going to need a lot of armed strength to do it. Okay. All right, let's attack first with all the infantry that we can, having learned our lesson. Does that help? No. Does that help? No. Do we get a 400 from anywhere? No. Interesting. We get a better percentage there. Okay, so, and we're fighting 95. So this is a 3-to-1. And you know, from what we've been reading, we can slaughter as much infantry as we like. And so what that did was made this stronger. And I can only attack it with 2 things, so. Or one side here. What about this? How much is this? 164. That might be a better place to start. Let's see what we can do. Oh. Okay, let's take that out. Yeah, we're really overpowered, huh? Oh, well, that's better. I don't know. It's a little too even for my liking. But, yeah. Yeah, I don't like that. Well, I think what I'm going to do is try it again. Because we kind of need to get in here. And I know we're way over because we... oh, that's awful. But we need to get in there. We need this spot. Because we already attacked. It's a rare situation I'll do that, but I have to. Let's see here. Yeah. A couple things from over here we could use. Alright, let's see what kind of situation we're in. We're attacking 269, so we definitely need more troops. We've only got 200. So we can attack from 2 sides. But we did just hit them. And we are attacking with... I wish I had another motorized unit. We are attacking with... No, you cannot attack. Okay. I hate doing this, but I have to. Maybe I should have turned that other infantry off. But we still got a 2-to-1, 3-to-1. And we're doing okay. Boy, this is scary. I'll move you back there while I still can. We'll beef that up. We'll get you to come over here and make that a little bit stronger. How far can I go out? Okay. I've only got the 1 unit here, but I've got 2 here. Let's see if I can get to there. Okay, that's pretty good. Now I've got active units. Yeah. That can do something in these R&R zones. I'm hoping that that's effective. Boy. Maybe I should abandon this for the moment, because we don't really need it, and we can continue to attack. They need more help. Nope. Anything here? Technically, yes. We could move that infantry unit. A couple of tank divisions. I'll take that. And the reason I'm doing this is I believe the encirclement is going to be more effective. Darn it. No. And now we're in a bit of trouble. So I'm going to set these to 25% so they can get out of there. These can stay at the normal rate. It's more likely that's going to get attacked than this. And they're still okay. What does that look like? Yeah, that looks good. Wrong. It had the desired effect, however. Yeah. And I don't want to go back in there because then I'm surrounded again on 3 sides. And I don't have the strength to do anything about it. So, don't do what Danny Don't does. That was not as good as I'd hoped. Take some risks, right? I really want to get at Smolensk. I had to get through here somehow. We'll see if I can keep it. Otherwise, we'll try another way. But you really need both tank divisions, don't you? Panzer groups to get through here. Okay. Yeah, I really would like to keep that, but I don't think we have the strength to do it. And if they do attack, I could pretty easily take it back. I'll surround them on 3 sides. So that's not so bad. Yeah. And they could, so that still needs to be beefed up. Yeah. And we've looked at that one already. Okay. Didn't use too much fuel either, so that's not too bad. That'll keep it around. I mean, this really does worry me. We are in between 2 fairly large forces here. If they force that out, they could isolate these guys, but I don't think it would last very long. We'll see if it's a disaster or not. You got to take some risks. Oh, hello. Look, kids, a free lunch. And that will allow me to do that. And I think now is a good time to try and surround this city. Well, that makes me nervous. Okay, we'll do it that way. I want to leave a military unit with the headquarters. I don't want it out by itself. So, what do we got here? 318. We don't even have that much strength ourselves, but we can surround it. Can we beat this unit again? Yeah. I'll take that. Okay, so there. What you lost on the apples, you make up on the oranges, as they say. So these guys are on R&R for 2 turns, including this one. So the only thing we care about is 17th Army. How are we doing here? I am interested in taking this city. Yeah. And like people have noticed, everybody is tired. I guess I'll get them across. It'll be helpful in a future turn. They're probably dug in like an Alabama tick. Entrenchment 150, not the worst. Morale 60. I think this would be very useful to go after. There's 67 of them. This looks like the right amount of force to use at them. We still got hurt. Bit of a bloody nose. Let's get across. And wow, I cannot get any of the Mountain Division. You made the Mountain Division fight. Wow, I really need some more strength across the river there than that. Might as well. We're not strong enough to attack this yet. But if we can get through here, this is a pretty strong stack. Yeah, we're going to have to wait till the Panzer Group comes back for that. But we have created an encirclement here, even if they don't like it. They're stronger than us, but we do surround them and we can starve them out. So there is that. Zinimer, I don't think we've got a chance in hell of taking right now. And I think we just sit here for the moment. I really don't see what else I can do. Yeah, if I move the headquarters up there, I won't have this, I don't think, in zone of, command anymore. So, yeah, there's just one guy. That would be suicidal. So next turn, so we'll call it a setup. See how it goes. Here we have this problem. I really, really, really need to take care of this, and I cannot get anyone there fast enough. I can get them to there, but I cannot get anyone fast enough, and I needed to retreat to here, which is what I'm going to do. And it's not pretty. It is officially not pretty. And I need help from 11th Army. Where is that siege cannon? Like, it's just no idea. It doesn't appear on the map. And I know it has in the past. Could be because we're not able to use the rail because we're moving the supply base to here, which is awesome. When that comes back, like, I'm going to have a lot of power in this region. I am going to jump the third across the river, the third Romanians here, and get them doing something here. And the thing is, I'm not really sure what I want them to do. But we do need to do something very quickly about this. Alright, we've got a bunch of smaller units here we can use to cover that. I'm fairly happy with that. So the Romanians are covering this zone. I think we could go grab that city, but then we're spread out so far. Even taking this might have been a mistake. I should have probably stayed on this side of the river. But I've got to spread out and control it something and have a line either here or here anyway, so why not get the victory point? Yeah, entrenchment 200. I don't know what we have to do, and the rail line is not being worked on. So, yeah. We have no fuel. And our air base is far away in Hubin. So there's no point in calling for air fuel support to the 11th Army. It's just not going to work. Yeah, this guy really needs help. These guys are all going to pile on it. And entrenchment is not great. Morale is excellent. About as good as it gets, you know, unlike these guys. It's still pretty good. But yeah, we had to back off because the pressure of all this, they will probably knock us back to here. And that's kind of okay. As a matter of fact, I'm going to 25% these guys. Because it doesn't matter so much if we give up these hexes. We cannot give up these hexes, though. Right here. I'm going to leave Odessa alone because that's just a death charge if I go against that. And it's kind of tempting to move this headquarters over here, but I'm going to leave it where it is right now. So I really didn't get to achieve that much that I wanted to this turn, particularly in this area. I really had hoped, like the last game I played, I would bust through and have a better impact. But next turn, right, is when that might happen. Just out of curiosity. Yeah, it's basically equal to try and do that. So I'm not gonna. When do we get? Second pads are back. Next turn. Okay. Why is their entrenchment not that good? You know, I'll take advantage of doing that. Pretty equal battle. We got better of them a little bit. What about you? A little better entrenchment. Basically, my thinking is if we have a chance to have an advantage over them and do some damage, it's 3-to-1 casualty ratio. I'm okay with that. We did get this. That's good. But man, I feel really stalled here on my way to the distant town of Moscow. Where's Gorky? I did get Stalin once by getting back in there and capturing him. And these guys, we've got another turn, and then we'll have another army back, which is good. And they can get over here and bolster this line up. Okay. I don't think there's much else for me to do on a tactical level other than make decisions. We've got an opponent appearing here. I don't want to give up my entrenchment, my defensive capabilities. We've got a lot of good going on now in these two army groups. The southern one, when this gets fixed and we have our forward supply base there, it will really be amazing. That'll fix our truck problems, it'll fix our fuel problems, and hopefully it'll fix the rail problem of continuing on here. Alright, let's have a look. Theater violation, I fixed that. Luftwaffe oil allocation, okay. I'm always a fan of helping Goering and getting him on my side. Only 1 point. You'd think he would be a little more. Truck secondment, I'm not going to do anything because I know that we're going to get that all back. It's going to fix itself. Alright, so really great fighter pilot. We don't want him killed like the Red Baron in the First World War because it's a bad propaganda incident. And let's have him do a tour. Let's have him do some PR. I don't really want him to go on a propaganda tour. I'm going to transfer him to the Reich Ministry where he can train other pilots. I On the other hand, I've never done this before. I'm going to have him stay there. Let's see. Goebbels is mad at me. Oh, von Bock is happy, though. That's good. And we get a Army Group Center buff to our airfield quality. Okay, so interesting. Let's come back to the field visit. Yeah, so some horrible things have happened to the 28th Division of the 9th Army, and let's talk about it. I'm always a fan, if I have the points, which I do, of dealing with these incidents, and we'll get a defensive bonus. All right. The rail in Army Group South. I'm gonna. He's already against me anyway. And we rolled low, so this is a problem. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, my relationship with him is good, so. But that could be deleted. 15 points can be deleted at any time. It could be like 18 negative points that I get assessed for a decision. Okay. Tilsit in Army Group North? No. That's over. Over here. We're at Jacobstadt, which is fantastic. Tilsit's back over here. That would be 2 steps back. So why would we do that? Therefore, I am not going to do that. That is dumb. Stay put. All right. What have we got? I wish we could visit with these guys, but we can't. We're pretty good with everybody. 23, 47, 28. I don't think we need to do anything right now. And unless I've made some sort of horrible mistake, I think that's the end of the turn. We did take this and push the garrison out of the city. All right. It is now after 10 at night, given the rigmarole of getting that camera to work again. You're a wonderful camera. Kaio Plus, but kind of a pain in the ass. Finicky, temperamental little SOB. Alright, what have we got going on here? Around Smolensk, we've got an attack, and they did knock my guy back to Orsha. Not unexpected. But they left the hex empty, which is interesting, so I'll fill that up. Again, not surprising. That's why I set those guys on 25% retreat. And like a gas, they're expanding to fill the space. Ooh. Where's that? Okay, 9th Army. I don't like it, but that'll sort itself out as I get 18th Army to come over. Okay, so if you're Soviets, some good news. The Soviets. Well, maybe if I want more bonuses, I should go with von Lieb for the visit. And I'm plus 15. That ought to be enough, but I guess you have to be strong. So there's a lesson. Siege artillery delayed. Yeah. Oh, so this is just a random. Oh, ew. So there's a 50% chance. I mean, I almost never use the siege artillery. I just get my guys meat grindered up at Odessa. So, unless they abandon it. Interesting. Okay. So, let me save this first. 12, Jason. And it's now May. I know. Got a couple of fun things going coming up. I am taking the girlfriend on a It's a one-day dinner cruise on the river in Knoxville. It'll be fun. We went last year. Somebody, it's funny. Somebody went on the same thing and they got a different package than was available when I went with her last year around March, with like the rose petals and stuff and photos and that, make a fuss over it. So I think she was a little jealous. So I was like, all right, I booked it again. And then July, I'm going to the Sasquatch Festival with her in Gatlinburg. And I've never been to one of these before. This is not the kitschy sell stuff at booths thing. This is like sit down and have speakers. There's a Navajo Ranger and another guy who I know as an expert there. And so it'll be fun. There's like 9 speakers or something, but something different. I've never been to one before. If I hate it, I'll never go again. But let's take a look here. So that unit disappeared. This is ready to be beaten upon. I think they've started pulling their strength out and going south here. We've got a bit more visibility on some units here. Some very weak units. That looks like a free lunch. 18th Army is alive. It's alive and ready to march. And so, yeah, you guys better enjoy. This isn't Grigsby's War in the East, unfortunately. I can't stick them on a rail car and roll them around the map. That was fun. But we've still got tons of fuel. We do have a little bit of a gas leak here kind of problem, but I can beef them up. And 18th Army will be coming to take care of that. And then I can pull these guys back up this way and free up 16th Army to go north. So both our panzer groups are back, and I need to figure out what I'm going to do with them. Wow, that 56 tank is weak. It's almost worth trying to surround these guys. Jeez. Yeah, I'll take that back. That's no problem. So we'll continue moving 4th Army up. That'll give us a little more strength up here. And I can move these guys away, right? The Panzer divisions up and do something destructive. Here in the south, I didn't try and get out. Entrenchment's still really good, but I've got that turn of having surrounded them. So that'll be helpful. I could try and do the same here. We'll see. My Panzer group's still on hold, so probably not. We'll see. This is very weak. I could surround this city. I think there's a good possibility of that. I may have 3rd Romanian come up and do something supportive over here. But we do need more troops down here. They did not try and attack this, which is really interesting because they've got 60, 100. They could pool a couple more units from here. It's probably not that much, I guess. It's certainly not 2 to 1. And I'll be able to beef that up with another 11th Army division. So we should have that bridge permanently now. So that's good. Let's look at the reports. Oh, we've got another Führer conference coming. Yeah, we know that. We know that. Okay. So our whoop. It's here, I promise. Our forward supply base here is ready to go, and I cannot move it to Ostrov because, oh, I can. In fact, I can move it to Pskov very soon. Now, we just went through the pain of, this is a tough one. We just went through the pain of waiting to get this going. So maybe I'll wait till we take, oh, we've got Riga, until we take Tallinn. Because I don't want the supply base to be over here on this side and you know, and it's going to be a real pain to truck stuff over here. This is kind of central, even though it is long. But once this gets taken out, Tallinn and Narva, or at least Tallinn, I can move to here. But I can get that air base there from Jacobstadt, and that will be helpful because it'll shorten the distance to both places. Oh, what's this? Okay, so this is my fault for not pissing off von Brauchitsch and choosing to put the rail back together. Cool. So we were having accidents. That's great. Good. We've controlled the partisans in the north. That's good. There is good. We didn't get 2 divisions. We were thinking about getting deployed here. Okay. So we've got mechanical failures. We've got those fortifications again. That's fine. And that's just sort of happening. And refit's complete, which is great. I guess that's 2nd Panzer. We fixed 20 tanks. We're still consolidating, although again I don't know what this means. Oh, before a relocation could be considered again. Okay, so you're just stuck with where you're at for a minute. Same problem with trains. Wonderful. Yeah, we got blocked on the next hex of rail. That's fine. And so our security divisions are doing their job, it seems. All right. Army Group South. Yeah, we've got a bunch of refits still going on. And the next end of the turn, next turn, we'll again magically fix the problem. We'll have enough trucks. We'll have enough rail. And we're still delayed. Of our 52%. That's awful. These are things I will take into account next time. And a whole bunch have failed to deploy. Okay. Alright, you can read this if you want. Like that, we've destroyed 9 army headquarters and 126 divisions. Alright. Performance evaluation. Logistical is still stuck on a 4, but that'll change after we get the Army Group South figured out. Loss assessment, yeah, killed a few people. There was, especially up near Orsha and on the way to Smolensk. I think there were some pretty brutal battles up there, and we'll see how we did. We got 1.5 million people in service. Isn't that incredible? Wow. Alright, battle reports. Nothing in Army Group South as a counterattack, but in the center, let's see what happened. 9 divisions attacked 2 divisions. We had to retreat. And yeah, this was the one east of Orsha. I don't blame them. Yeah, this is the 9th Army, I think. Yeah, 1 division of the 9th Army was pounded by 8 of Soviet Army. So again, not a shock. Nothing we needed to keep, though. And then another area as well. 5 divisions attacked 1 division. So they've got a lot of guys up there for some reason. And here in the south, 6 divisions attacked 2 Romanians, and they pulled back. And I guessed that would happen. All right, it's not a shocking surprise to me. All right, logistics. Yep, we're running. We're running. We're getting about 3,300 barrels a day of this stuff in the north. We're getting, wow, 9,000. This may be pent up as well, right? That's coming out. So we've got tons of fuel in Army Group Center, which is great for when Panzer Group 2 comes back, or it is back now. And here it's just a mess, and we know it's just a mess. Rail capacity, fine. So, Yeah. We have tremendous truck surpluses in Army Group North and Center. It's kind of frustrating that I can't tell them to transfer some of this stuff to Army Group South. I wish I could. But those are the biggest things that's going on. Let's have a look at our chart. Casualties suffered. We took 20,000, but they took 70,000, something like that, I think. So, it's a fairly fair trade. I don't know. I wouldn't want to do it that way all the time. There's our fuel recovery. Yeah, my relationship with the train guy is really bad. Political points are good. The trains are generally good, although nothing's actually running in the south. Why are you doing that? There are no trucks in the south. The Luftwaffe is okay. Partisans are dropping, as we've seen. Nothing in the north. And the evaluations of weather are kind of useless stats. All right. I am going to link to the discussion that I did with Nick Moran in 2020. If you're interested in how somebody would go to the National Archives and go about researching what happened with tanks, it's very interesting. Go check that out, because it's like a building, and you can't bring anything in with you. You have to sit for half an hour or something and get some training, if I remember correctly, and every time. And then you go in and you ask for boxes, certain boxes. And you can only ask for maybe 10, a few that fit on a cart at a time, and they bring it to you, and you don't know what's in the box. It's the Seven movie. What's in the box? You don't know. It could be completely useless, or it could be a real find, right? And some of the stuff, nobody's looked at it since 1945. There are all kinds of studies in there about the effect of jungle moisture and mold on rubber parts, and because they were attacking it in there, right? And nobody's looked at that since. If somebody has been in the box before you, maybe they left a little piece of paper with some notes about what's in there on it. So it's fascinating what you could find. A typical thing that you might find is that the Army manuals that we have access to say the armor is such and such thick, and then when you get in the box, you actually find out it's thinner, right, in real life. So there's all kinds of interesting discoveries that can be made there. And, of course, he's trying to get this data and measurements and that kind of thing to give to World of Tanks so they can model those vehicles in their game. And try and have, it's still arcadey, but still try and have some semblance of reality. So I think that's really cool. All right. Appreciate you watching. If you know somebody who would like this content, please share it with them, because otherwise, the channel is growing, and I appreciate that. But it's still tiny, and, people need to know that it exists for them to watch it. I'm trying a thing where I upload and keep it on private for 24 hours and then release it. And the myth is, I don't know if it's true or not, it seemed to help with a couple of other stuff on my personal channel. It's supposed to let the algorithm figure out who this is for and what to do. So I'll try that. I've scheduled the last 3 episodes to premiere at a certain time, which apparently was not the right thing to do from the mythology that's being spread right now by other YouTubers who are teaching people how to grow their channels. So we'll see if it's advice that's any good or not, but that's what I'll do. I'm going to record one more video. I've been up for way too long, and that should tide us over until next week when I'm back and can keep going. All right, appreciate you. Likes, comments, shares, all appreciated. They really help. They really do. And I'll see you next time.